Welcome to today's deep dive. Every time you open a feed or go to a conference these days, you are basically told you need to adopt the latest breakthrough immediately, or else.
Right, or you just get left behind in the dust. The anxiety driving that pressure is, well, it's the symptom of a massive hype cycle.
Exactly. Which is why our mission today is to help you navigate this specific tech hype cycle. We want to help you figure out what actually deserves your attention and your budget tomorrow morning.
Because just throwing budget at innovation without understanding your own business mechanics usually leads to catastrophic waste.
Right. And to do this, we are using a really brilliant white paper by Dr. Barnard. He's the co-founder of Goldratt Research Labs. And he's going to be our guide as we look at 5 highly debated technologies.
Yeah, we're covering AI, robotics, digital twins, blockchain, and Web3.
But we're looking at all of them through this very unforgiving, very precise lens called the theory of constraints.
And that lens completely changes how you evaluate a new tool. Before we even get into those 5 technologies, we have to establish a fundamental truth about tech failure.
The ROI reality check.
Exactly. This is a crucial detail for anyone managing a budget. When companies invest in tech, like AI or robotics, and they fail, it's not that operations didn't improve by a single second.
Right. They usually do see some localized speed increases.
Yeah, they do. But the failure is that there was absolutely no return on investment, no ROI. Because the technology didn't increase revenue or reduce costs enough to cover the massive initial investment.
It's basically saying technology is necessary but not sufficient. It only creates value when it relieves a real limitation.
Right. You just create an island of efficiency in a sea of bottlenecks.
Which is, it's like buying a $300,000 sports car to commute in bumper-to-bumper traffic.
That's a great way to look at it.
Yeah, because the car works perfectly, right? It drives fast. But the traffic is the real constraint. So the investment didn't fix the actual bottleneck. You just end up with this very shiny machine stuck in the same jam as a 20-year-old sedan.
Exactly. So to figure out where your traffic jam actually is, Dr. Barnard says we have to look at your business as a chain.
Okay, a chain trying to hold up a heavy load, like a revenue target.
Right. And every chain has 3 distinct types of links. The first is the strong link. Investing time or money here is, well, it's pure waste.
Because it's already strong enough to handle the load.
Right. Then you have the weak link. A weak link isn't strong enough for the ultimate long-term goal.
Yeah.
But, and this is crucial, strengthening a merely weak link only creates potential for the future.
It creates no result today.
Exactly. Because something else is going to break first, which leaves the third type, the weakest link.
The binding constraint.
Yes. While strengthening a weak link creates potential, only strengthening the absolute weakest link creates real results right now.
Because that's the only place where your investment converts directly into measurable progress.
Right. But finding that weakest link is only half the battle. You also have to change the old rules.
Right, the old rules trap. I found this part of the source material fascinating. People buy the shiny new constraint breaker, but they forget that they built all these habits around the old limitation.
Yeah, the tool updates, but the habit stays exactly the same.
Like the annual budgeting example.
Oh, that's a perfect example. Back when data lived on paper, an annual budgeting cycle made perfect sense. The physical reality of paper was the constraint.
Because collecting those numbers took slow, painful manual labor.
Right. But then data went digital. Information became instantaneous. The constraint vanished, but companies kept the annual budgeting policy.
They kept a 12-month rule for a system that updates in real time. The tool worked, but the habit was totally obsolete.
Yeah.
But wait, let me push back on this for a second, because this feels completely counterintuitive. If I'm an ambitious, growth-minded listener, you're telling me to basically stop improving parts of my business just because they aren't the absolute weakest link.
I know, it's incredibly hard for high achievers to accept. We are culturally wired to optimize everything. But if your department produces, say, 10% more output, and the department next to you, the actual weakest link, can't process it, you just create a backlog.
Right. Efficiency at a non-constraint is just an illusion.
Exactly. The most successful leaders map specific technologies to specific human limitations. So let's actually apply this to AI and robotics.
The first 2 on our list. So AI. What fundamental human constraint does AI actually relieve?
Well, AI targets 2 cognitive limitations, attention and intelligence.
Okay, let's start with attention.
Humans just can't process the sheer volume of data we generate. We're drowning in noise. So AI acts as this high-speed filter, tells us where to point our limited attention.
And the second one, intelligence.
All right, our brains are bounded by cognitive bias and fatigue. AI amplifies those boundaries. It can simulate a million outcomes and generate options without ever getting tired.
But there is a huge trap here, right? Going back to the old rules. If you bolt an AI onto an old, slow workflow, you neutralize it.
Oh, absolutely. If your AI writes a brilliant 50-page report in seconds, but your old policy says it still has to be manually read by 6 exhausted vice presidents, you haven't fixed the attention constraint. You've actively worsened it.
Dr. Barnard has that great line for this. He calls it plausible noise wearing a lab coat.
Yes. Because it looks sophisticated, but it's just generating more friction for the humans stuck in the loop.
Right. But let's say you do get AI right. You generate a million brilliant ideas. You still hit a physical wall because generating ideas doesn't help if you can't execute them.
Which shifts the constraint from the desk to the factory floor. And that brings us to robotics.
Right. The actuation layer. The hands.
Exactly. Robotics relieves the oldest constraint we have, which is labor. Our physical limitations, our need for rest, our availability for dangerous work.
So AI is the thinking and robotics is the doing.
Yes. And combining them is incredibly powerful. But this is exactly where you hit that million-dollar robot bankruptcy trap we talked about earlier.
The Goldratt trap.
Right. If you put a tireless, ultra-fast robot at a station that is not your weakest link, it just produces faster than the rest of the business can handle.
He just does what it's programmed to do.
Yeah, and it creates massive piles of unfinished inventory. You tie up all your capital in parts that are just gathering dust.
So it's like AI is your genius executive chef planning the menu, and the robot is your sous chef chopping onions at lightning speed.
Okay, I love this.
But if your restaurant's real constraint is that no customers are walking through the front door, chopping onions faster just leaves you with a kitchen full of rotting onions.
Exactly. You disguised waste as efficiency.
So, okay, if we have AI to think and robots to do, how do we safely test these changes without breaking our business? Because nobody wants a kitchen full of rotting onions.
Right. And that brings us to the third technology, which is digital twins.
Digital twins. Now, the marketing around this term is wild. What constraint does a digital twin actually relieve?
It relieves the Foresight constraint.
The Foresight constraint.
Yeah, because in the physical world, learning by doing is painfully expensive. If you rearrange a factory and get it wrong, it costs millions. Digital twins let you simulate the consequences of a decision virtually before you spend a single real dollar.
But we have to clarify what a true twin is, right? Because just putting a smart sensor on a car gearbox, that's a component twin.
Exactly. It's useful, but it's not a system twin. A true system twin models your entire operation.
And it has to model the messiness of reality.
Right. The military uses this acronym, VUCA. Volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. Yeah, but traditional IT systems fail because they assume infinite resources. So Dr. Barnard spells it VUCCA. He pronounces it VOOCA, but he adds a second C right in the middle.
Oh, wait. VOOCA. So what is the extra C for?
Constraints.
Ah, of course.
Because if your simulation assumes you have unlimited warehouse space or unlimited cash flow, it's lying to you.
Yeah.
A true digital twin has to model scarcity.
Which is incredibly hard to do. The source text actually had a really fascinating lived case study from Goldratt Research Labs about this.
Yeah, they applied their own theory to their software. And they found 2 sequential constraints holding back digital twins. The first was cost and speed.
Right, because it used to take like 24 months and $1 million to build one of these things.
Exactly. So they targeted that specific weak link. They figured out how to instantly map the twin to a company's existing IT data.
And they reduced the build time from 24 months down to between 3 and 24 seconds.
Which is just staggering. But, and here's the theory of constraints in action. The second they fixed speed, a new weakest link popped up.
Right, the bottleneck just shifts. So what was the new constraint?
Data health.
Garbage in, garbage out.
Exactly. The twin could run in 15 seconds, but the historical data in the client's Excel sheets was just full of errors. So a fast simulation on bad data just helps you make a terrible decision really quickly.
So how did they fix it?
They used AI. They deployed AI as an automated auditor to health check and fix the dirty data before the twin even ran.
Okay, so that solves the internal trust issue. You can trust the simulation of your own factory. But what about the broader world? Like, how do we verify data coming from our external suppliers or distributors?
Right. Well, historically, we just pay a massive premium to auditors and brokers because trusting strangers is risky.
Which leads us perfectly into the fourth technology, blockchain.
Yes. And we really need to separate the underlying infrastructure of blockchain from the crypto hype. Blockchain is not just a coin. It relieves the human constraint of trust.
Right, it replaces trust me with verify me.
Exactly. It shrinks the need for expensive intermediaries by offering an immutable, mathematically verified ledger.
But the source makes a really sharp distinction here between blockchain and Web3. It says blockchain is the infrastructure, but Web3 solves a different human limitation.
Yeah, and this is a crucial detail. Web3 solves the connection constraint.
The connection constraint, let's unpack that.
So look at the modern internet.
Yeah.
Platforms like Amazon or YouTube give you massive distribution.
Millions of eyeballs.
Right. But they hold the relationship hostage.
Oh, because you don't actually own your audience.
Exactly. You're just renting them. If the platform changes its algorithm or bans your account, your business vanishes. That inability to directly reach your own customers is the connection constraint.
And Web3 solves that by enabling direct customer connections.
Right. Because a Web3 token lives on a decentralized ledger, the platform literally cannot revoke your connection to that customer.
But early Web3 folks got this wrong, didn't they? They tried to build whole new platforms from scratch.
Yeah, and nobody showed up. Because discovery wasn't the constraint. The big platforms are actually great at discovery.
So what's the actual playbook then, the Web 2 plus Web 3 approach?
It's a 4-step playbook.
Yeah.
First, you keep renting the audience on Web 2 to get the eyeballs. Second, you insert a digital hook into your product, like a digital collectible or a VIP warranty.
Give them a reason to click.
Right. Third, they connect through a digital wallet. And this is vital. It has to be frictionless. Embedded invisibly, you have to hide the blockchain entirely.
No seed phrases, no jargon.
Exactly. And fourth, once that token is in their wallet, you own the direct relationship.
It's like setting up a stall in someone else's massive shopping mall to get the foot traffic.
I love these analogies.
Well, it makes sense, right? You use their mall for the traffic, but you slip every single customer a secret phone number. So if the mall kicks you out, you still have a direct line to your buyers.
That is exactly what it is. You bypass the connection constraint entirely.
Okay, so we've mapped all 5. AI and robotics for attention, intelligence, and labor. Digital twins for foresight. Blockchain for trust, and Web3 for connection. But how does a listener actually apply this tomorrow morning?
Dr. Barnard distills this down to a 3-branch decision tree.
Okay, branch 1.
If the hyped technology does not sit on your binding constraint, understand it, but do not invest yet.
Don't buy the sports car if your road is jammed.
Exactly. Branch 2. If it does sit on your constraint, but it's commodity infrastructure like a foundational AI model or a blockchain, then just buy or consume it. Don't try to build it from scratch.
Which leaves branch 3.
Right. If it sits on your constraint and it gives you a defensible edge in your market, then you build it.
That is such a powerful framework. The loudest tech trend on social media is just noise if it doesn't address your specific weakest link. Well, as we wrap up, I want to leave you, the listener, with a final provocative thought. We are building technologies to dismantle our limitations. AI constantly pushes the boundary of our intelligence. Robotics constantly pushes the boundary of our labor.
It's expanding what's possible at an incredible rate.
Right. But if we follow that trajectory, maybe the ultimate immovable constraint of the future won't be our ability to produce things.
Oh, that's interesting.
When the constraints on time and effort literally disappear, what will you actually choose to care about? Maybe the final constraint is just our human capacity to desire.
Wow. When you can build anything instantly, deciding why you're building it becomes the only question that matters.
Exactly. Something to mull over. Thanks for diving deep with us today, and we'll see you on the next deep dive.